Hello everyone. Let's start learning about server-side Java program, that is Servlet programming. As we know that we can design two types of Java program. First one is application, which gives us a command line user interface. That means we get output on the black and white screen where there is a no graphical interface. All that program we have implemented like basic addition of two numbers, square of a number, for, if, branching statement, etc. Second type of Java program is applet programming, which gives us a graphical user interface that are basically designed for internet programming, wherein client and server or the web browser is involved. There are two types of applet: local applet and remote applet. Local applet is the applet which is designed on one machine and executed on the same machine. Second one is remote applet. It means the client is requesting a applet which is designed by someone else and available on the server. Server will return the response to the client for that requested applet. But there are two possibilities while considering the remote applet. Let's see. In remote applet, first option is whenever a client sends a request to the server, server will search for that particular applet and the bytecode of that applet will be sent back to the client, and then that bytecode will be downloaded on client machine, and then that applet will be executed on client machine. This type of programming is known as a server-side Java programming. But there are two drawbacks involved in this type of programming. First one, if the applet is larger in size, it may take a long time to download that bytecode. Second thing, we cannot predict what kind of browser is used by the client machine. So there may come the issue of browser compatibility. So to overcome these drawbacks, we can switch over to server-side programming. Now, how it will work? When a client sends a request via the internet to the server, the requested applet will be searched on a server and that applet will be executed on server side itself, and only output will be sent back to the client. So it means whatever the two drawbacks that we have seen on the client side of Java programming, that is downloading time and the browser compatibility issues, will be resolved in the server side Java programming. So how we can implement the facility of server side Java programming? There are many alternatives options available for server side Java programming. First one was CGI, Common Gateway Interface. Second, proprietary APIs. Third, Microsoft Active Server Pages. And last one was server-side JavaScript. But why these options were not so popular for server-side Java programming? Let's see the reasons. Starting with the CGI, Common Gateway Interface. Here, as at any point of time, many client may be sending a request to a server. For every client, a new CGI process was created for handling that particular client, so that that client request has to be entertained, what exactly the client wants, and that information will be searched and then output will be sent back to the client. So for every client request, new CGI process was being created on server side itself. So there may be chances of server running out of memory space. Second thing, the initialization process for every CGI was taking time. So these were the drawbacks of CGI. And generally, these CGI were not portable. So thinking about the second option, that is proprietary APIs. APIs are nothing but the application programming interfaces or we can say in a simple language, these are the libraries. So there are multiple libraries available for implementing this server-side Java programming, but mostly APIs were written in C and C++ language, so there were the issues of portability. Moving to the next option, that is Microsoft Active Server Pages, but this option was supporting only two browsers, Netscape Navigator browser and Fast Track server. So this was not the good choice. And last one was the server-side JavaScript for implementing server-side programs, but only Microsoft's Internet Information Server was supporting this type of application. So all these were the options having the, I can say, a cons on their own side. And coming to the last option was the servlet. Now this servlet, I can define the servlet is a server-side Java program which is reading the client request, processing it and sending output back to the client. So all the issues of CGI and everything was overcame in servlet option. How? Whenever server is started, servlet is loaded. Servlet will be loaded only once and it will be available till the server is shut down for serving all the incoming client request. So whenever a client sends a request via the internet to the server, this servlet program will be processing, will be performing three tasks. It has to read the client input request, process the input and generate the output, and only output will be sent back to the client. So all the downloading issues, browser compatibility issues were resolved as only static output is getting sent back to the client. Second thing, servlet will be available in the memory till the server is shut down, and that servlet will be serving many clients. No separate process is creating for every client. So all the issues that were available with the CGI option is resolved over here. So servlet is the best choice for implementing server-side Java programs because of its characteristics. It is efficient because it is loaded only once. It is persistent because it stays in memory for serving all the client requests till the server is shut down. It is portable as servlet programs are written in Java. Java is a portable and platform independent language, so the way servlets are. Servlets are robust because of the two concepts, exception handling mechanism and garbage collector. Obviously, these are the key features of the Java. Servlets are secure because in Java there are no pointer, so no memory leakage, and servlets are executing on server side itself, so more security is provided. And all characteristics are supporting for the widespread acceptance of this servlet option for implementing server-side Java programs. So in short, we can define servlet is a server-side Java program which will be reading the client request, processing it and sending output back to the client. So let's see how we can implement the servlet. Now suppose we want to implement a simple servlet application. At the client end, I want to design a web page having a label as a number, in front of that a text box and square button. Obviously the web page we can execute in a web browser. Once the user enters the number and clicks on a square button, the request has to be sent to one of the ready servlet which will be performing this task of calculating a square of a number. So server has to be started, servlet will be loaded. As the request come, this servlet will read a number, it will calculate the square and it will return only output back to the client, and the output will be displayed on web page of the client machine. So this application we are going to implement by using servlet option. Now for implementing this, we are going to use one of this server for execution of this servlet application. So we are going to install Apache Tomcat server on our machine. So if you have a setup of Apache Tomcat, we can start the installation of it and get the Apache Tomcat installed on your computer machine. This will be serving the purpose of server on our machine so that we can implement the servlet program so that we can see the output of server side Java program. Now the Apache Tomcat is installed on our machine and we are going to implement this application. Okay, so for designing that web page, we need to write HTML language for creating a simple web page. HTML is a hypertext markup language which is enclosed in a angular brackets. It is not case sensitive as well. So we are starting with the HTML tag, body tag. All the GUI controls in HTML form we have to design within form tag. Method is the attribute. Here we can either write get or post. These are the two methods of transmission of data. Get is not secured while transmitting the data, and post is quite secure. Action is the attribute of form tag. Whenever you are clicking on submit type of button, OK button, login button, square button, where you want to jump to. Here in this case, once we click on square button, there has to be a server which is giving a servlet ready program which will be calculating your number square. So once user clicks on square button, the program control should execute the servlet program, and that path, as we are executing both the program on same machine, that's why I am giving the address of localhost. HTTP is the protocol, as this is the client server application, so we need the protocol for request purpose. It is the IP address or name of the machine where your servlet program is located. As of now we are using the local machine, that's why I am writing here localhost, and 8080 is the port number where that service is available, and rest of the example slash servlet is the folder where your servlet programs resides, like Java JDK bin. Here my servlet program is having name as a my square, so I am giving that name. So moving further, I want the label number. In front of that I need a text box, so we are writing input type is equal to text. The name of this text box is num. We need this for performing the calculation. Then I want a line break. In next line I want the button, submit type of button. So input type is equal to submit. Value means the caption of that button should be square. End of the form, end of the body, end of the HTML. Now we have to save this file if you are saving in the same bin directory. So give name SQ and extension should be HTML. Yes. Now we have to design a MySQL servlet program. So we should write the servlet program. Now whenever we design, now with respect to applet, we already know that every applet differs in its life cycle. So we have a life cycle series method of applet like init, start, paint, stop and destroy. Same way, there may be number of servlet application designed for different purposes. So we need to define the life cycle of servlet. So there are only three methods of servlet: init, service and destroy. Init is loaded only once for the all the initial setup. Service method is the only method that will be doing all the job of servlet program, and destroy method is used for cleanup process that will be executed only once when the server is about to shut down. So init and destroy are the optional, so we are using only service method. For performing this application, we need to import a servlet package which is available under Java X, then regular java.io. Public class, as it is internet application, name of the servlet is MySquare, which we had written same in the web page. MySquare, same here, MySquare. Extends, we need to write a generic servlet. Why this is so? Whenever we design applet, we write extends applet for life cycle method. Same way, all the three methods, init, service and destroy, the life cycle method of servlet, are available under generic servlet class, and this class is available under package javax.servlet. We are writing only important method, that is public void service. The syntax of this method is it need two parameters: servlet request object req, servlet response object res, and this method may throw servlet exception or IO exception. Opening curly braces. Now, as we have already discussed that servlet's job is to read the input, process it and send output back to the client. There are two compulsory statements we need to write in servlet program, that are, we have to set the type of response. So we are using response res object, set content type. Whatever response we are sending, its content type is text or HTML, means web page. Whenever we want to write a display or show message on screen, we write system.out.println. On applet screen, we write g.drawString. On web page writing, again we have a print ln method, but that method is of print writer class in case of web page. So we need to have the object of print writer class, and that object of print writer class can be retrieved by using getWriter method of servlet response class. Okay, so these are the two compulsory lines. Now the job of this service method is to read all the input from client, and for that purpose we have the req object, and output will be sent back through res object of servlet response. Now we have to read the input of client. So for reading the input of client, we have to use req object and the get parameter method of servlet request. Get parameter value. Now this get parameter method will return the value of the specified parameter. If you can see in the web page form, we had given the name to the text box as a num. So whatever input will be given in that text box of name num has to be read out in this program. So we are writing this line req.getParameter num. Num parameter value will be read and it will be stored in n variable, as it returns the value in string format only. We have to convert that into number by using wrapper class method, and the number is now in NO. Calculate the square of this number and store the answer in SQ. Now we want to display the output on web page. So web page output will be displayed by using PW object, pw.println. Square of a number is, and the answer is SQ. It means the servlet has performed the task of reading the input, processing the input client request and sending output back to the client. Now all these two programs are written. Now how to execute this? For executing this program, first of all, our web server should be started. So, once you have installed the Apache Tomcat on your machine, go to the Start menu and go to the Start menu, and here you can see the Apache Tomcat folder. Click on it. The option will be available, Start Tomcat. Once you click on it, the server will be started. Just minimize that window. Now we have to compile our servlet program. So open command prompt. Now here we have to perform two steps. Go to the path up to the bin directory. Now we have to compile our servlet program, javac mysquare.java space. Here we have to give the class path, dash class path space, in colon we have to load the servlet. Now for loading the servlet, we have to go to the Apache Tomcat and we have to relocate the servlet exe file. So path is c colon slash. In that we have to go to the program files option. Type P, click on the tab, the program files option will be there. Select it, come one step back, again type for A, press tab key, the A named options will be displayed. Select Apache Tomcat, come one step back, again give backslash, here type C for common, then one step back, L for lib, one step back, and S for servlet.jar. Here in this line we are performing two steps, that we are compiling mysquare.java as well as we have started the server. Now we should load the servlet program. As we are the programmer and user, so we have to do all these steps by our own. If there are errors, the error will be displayed, otherwise the prompt will be shown. Now it means our servlet program, which is a ready service, is clear, error free. Now our programs are available on client machine under bin directory. So we have to take our Java and class file from Java JDK bin and paste it to the server. So path of the server is go to C, program files, Apache Tomcat, in that web apps, examples, web inf, classes, and paste over here. So your servlet programs are now available on your server machine. Now we should run our HTML file. Our HTML file is stored in Java directory, Java JDK bin, and the SQ HTML file. So we will click on that web page and the file will be displayed like this. This is our web page with label, text box, and square button. Now if I enter a number in a text box, and click on square button, the my square program gets executed on server and the output is sent back to the client. So we get output over here. So by this way we have designed the client server application using servlet program for showing the square of a number. I hope this will clear your idea of servlet. Thank you.